Welcome to the Gearhead Country Garage. I'm your host Ian Rome, and today's special guest in the Gearhead Country Garage is Joe Hash.
Thank you, man. Good
How
to be
you
here.
doing, Joe?
I'm great. It's good to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. Joe is originally from, you grew up in Ohio?
I grew up in Columbus, Ohio, yeah.
Born and raised in Ohio,
Yeah.
and
Folks are from Kentucky and down around Huntington, West Virginia,
yeah.
too.
And what brought you to Canada?
A woman and a job. And the job worked out really well.
The women, not so much.
Not so much. But then, you know, I stayed here long enough. I eventually met my wife, and we've been married for going on 7 years now.
Awesome.
Very happy, great gal, yeah. So
Very nice.
it's all good.
Now, would you consider yourself a car guy?
You know what? I am, in the sense that I love them. I probably spent more time working on cars when I was younger, because I had to. You know, I didn't have the dough to pay anybody else to do it, so I just did it myself. So I'm an appreciator, I guess, at this point. And it's I've drooled over my fair share of vehicles, including the ones behind me here. This is pretty nice.
Now, I'll ask you the question. You know, what would be your dream car if you had to put something in your garage to drive on Sundays or drive around Nashville in? What would you pick if you could narrow it down to one?
If I could narrow it down to one dream car, there's so many that are just fantastic, and some that I've never even driven before, but I'm just imagining how great it would be. I think it would be incredibly ostentatious, but also really awesome to have a Ford GT. I think that those are just they're like fighter jets that never leave the ground. You know? And I think that's pretty amazing, particularly that the one in the racing colors, the orange and baby blue.
The Gulf.
Yeah,
the Gulf racing colors.
Oh man, that's just.
Nothing quiet about that.
Nothing quiet about it.
Sneaking around town with that car.
It's funny. I was at a Ford dealership once, and he had one in the showroom, and I was talking to him about it, and he said, you know, we can't put our dealer frame on the rear plate of that. I said, why not? He says it melts. It melts right off because of the heat. So that's one. And you know, I've always loved Corvettes. I've got a cousin who's a Corvette nut, and he's let me drive a few of those. And I like the early Corvettes. I like the vintage, similar to that. The 57, 56 Corvettes. The two-tone ones are kind of cool. So I don't know. I'd go for those little sport things. But yeah, I guess those are sort of the two fantasy cars, not like Lamborghinis or anything like that. I guess it's the American version of Lamborghinis.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. That's cool. Now, you've got a couple car songs that are on. A couple of them are on Gearhead Country now. What would you like to play live for us? We'll get you to play a couple today. So, what would you like to play for us live in the garage?
Live in the garage. This is cool. Well, how about the Big Black Lincoln song?
All right.
Okay. Times of life when you realize the time has come for you to choose. You can keep on doing what you've always done, hoping things are going to change. You can cut it all loose. This is one of those times, or one of those lies. I've made up my mind what I've got to do. That's what I've got to do. I got a big black Lincoln, blacker than a heart attack. I got a big black Lincoln, blacker than a heart attack. Put that pedal down, all you're gonna see is my back. Now you might say I'm running away because I'm afraid to stay and face the fact. But the fact is, tomorrow's gonna be exactly the same for you. And for me, it's already in the past. So roll up my sleeves, and what I need is a heart that bleeds with those three little words you know the ones. Don't look back. I got some brand new big black Lincoln. Got a big black Lincoln.
Big black Lincoln.
I got a big black Lincoln, blacker than a heart attack. I was born to burn, baby, that ain't ever gonna change. I was born to burn, honey, that ain't ever gonna change. Gonna start it on over when I pass you on that interstate. In my big black Lincoln, a big black Lincoln. I got a big black Lincoln. I got a big black Lincoln, blacker than a heart attack. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got a big black Lincoln. Got a big black Lincoln. Got a big black Lincoln. I got a big black Lincoln. I got a big black Lincoln, and all you're gonna see is my back.
Awesome. Thank you. Big Black Lincoln.
My
Joe
pleasure.
Hatch.
Thank you.
Marvelous. Thank you for playing Gearhead Country.
My pleasure.